Blog show. Blog show.
Boom, though, and welcome to the Blog Show, your weekly flirtation with sports blogging. I'm your host, Jamie Mottram. This is your other host, Dan Steinberg.
That's right, Jamie, and forget the flirtation. I was doing some full-on open-mouth kissing with the sports blogosphere this week as March Madness began. It was one of my most exciting weeks of the year.
Yeah, because there's tons of upsets.
Upsets.
I mean, 2 12-13 games in the second round, 3 double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16.
Jamie, what caused all those upsets?
We uncovered the root of all this goodness, and it was Dick Vitale cross-dressing as Cinderella.
Wow.
Literally, cross-dressing.
That's amazing. That was for the Tampa Tribune's special NCAA preview section, and I understand that next year they're going to try to get Vitale to dress up like a diaper dandy.
Dirty. We saw that one on Fan IQ. And everybody's favorite Cinderella superstar in this tournament is Stephen Curry. For the Davidson Wildcats, scored 70 points as Davidson slew Goliath, Gonzaga, and Georgetown those first 2 rounds. Found some inspiration from his shoes.
I like the biblical reference because his shoes actually had this biblical quote from Philippians. He's taking his inspiration from the Lord and transferring that into a magic marker on his shoe.
That helped him out against Gonzaga, and an old friend of ours, of the blogosphere really, Adam Morrison, was in attendance. The wispy mustache has now grown into somewhat of a goatee, but the hair is still long.
But the hair helps him look kind of really sad, which was an appropriate emotion there.
Yeah, luckily everybody made it out of there alive. We saw that screen capture on With Leather. Another long hair making an appearance at the tournament was Arkansas's Stephen Hill.
Yeah, not just the long hair, though. He's also got the kind of
overgrown beard.
Crazed beard. Actually, I thought I saw him at the Verizon Center when West Virginia was playing Duke. There was this guy carrying like a rifle around and "Let's go Mountaineer."
That's the Mountaineer. But we saw the screenshot on Sports Hernie, and I thought I'd seen Stephen Hill before, looking like a grizzly bear, and in fact I had. There was a bunch of other screenshots at Sports by Brooks.
He's got a long career of interesting hair.
Another guy,
I should mention.
The other guy with interesting hair is Steve Lavin, known for the slick back Gordon Gekko.
That's right.
Look, well, he lost it and took the gel out of his hair. And you may not recognize this man on your screen, but that is Steve Lavin without the gel.
It's kind of amazing. I don't think that he could have pulled that look off when he was an actual coach, because you sort of have to have the slick back look to be the cheater type, you know?
Oh, nice. He was the coach at UCLA. We saw that one on the sporting blog. Speaking of Westwood, there's an interesting fan dancing in the stands at UCLA games. He is the rental man.
And what's interesting about him is that he kind of dances without music, which you can't hear right now, but he's actually just kind of freestyling. It's kind of an amazing accomplishment. Apparently he gets paid for just kind of going and entertaining the masses like this. I think that maybe you could get him at the Mayflower for
He's available,
$2,000.
I'm sure. We saw this one on Fan House, and there's some fans dancing at Wizards games as well that end up on the Jumbotron. There's a guy who does the sprinkler with the crotch thrust. He's a fan favorite. Maybe he'll show up on the DC Sports Blog someday. One thing that won't show up on the DC Sports Blog is NCAA tournament highlights before the games are over.
That's right.
And one Raleigh-Durham area station had that trouble last week trying to show Duke and UNC highlights.
The NCAA will not permit you to show any highlights before all of that day's slate of games is done.
Right.
So this station took the kind of unusual.
They had to get creative.
That's right.
And here are the results of the Duke-Belmont highlights.
Duke and Belmont, the doll version. This is Belmont's Alex Renfro. He was unconscious. He hit threes. Let's bring that music up. He drove to the bucket over big guys like Brian Zubek. Look at him. He's the guy in the big mask. Belmont was leading with less than a minute left, but Gerald Henderson, who we will show is a frog, because he was jumping out of the building. He had a career-high 21, including the play of the game, 13 seconds left, goes through the entire defense and gets a finger roll, and look at him, he's going nuts and riveting. Okay, but 1 second left, Justin Hare, a half-court shot to tie it. Duke fans, freaking out. Is it going to go in? No, he just barely misses it.
And that NBC 17 video was found via ballhype.com.
That's right. And, you know, Duke went on to lose in the second round to West Virginia and their coach, Bob Huggins.
Thank goodness, yes.
Huggins, who, of course, will be portrayed by a Huggy Bear for NBC 17. But, you know, one of the things that is always kind of like an enduring memory for me of the NCAA tournament is the popcorn, because the media rooms at all of these events are just filled with tons and tons and tons of popcorn.
Fancy.
You can see so many media members. I got some Washington Times media members there who are throwing popcorn into each other's mouths. But Huggins actually, after the game, Huggins kind of went to press row and sat there and ate popcorn.
Just went to town on the popcorn. Yeah. Wow, that's quite a treat. College students across this nation of ours are enjoying drunk foods on weekends, especially during drunken NCAA tournament weekends, watching the games. At the end of a long night of game watching, you might be hungry. You might want to fill up with your local, signature food.
Local drunk food du jour, I think.
So the top 10 signature dishes were found by Endless Simmer, such as the Fat Darryl at Rutgers. It's a submarine sandwich with mozzarella sticks, nuggets, chicken tenders, French fries, all right there on the bun.
Right, don't forget about the South Side Slope in Pittsburgh, which is a kielbasa covered with fried pierogies and grilled onions.
I think our favorite is the Luther Burger in Atlanta, which is basically a cheeseburger with a Krispy Kreme bun. And our producer, Adam Littlefield, actually had enjoyed the Luther Burger one day, so he made me a Little's Burger. It's a McDonald's patty on a Krispy Kreme, and we're going to give it a little taste test.
Go ahead. The smell has just been kind of overpowering me for the last 5 minutes.
I think Luther was onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what team from Atlanta actually made the NCAA tournament? I guess that would be Georgia. Is that the closest equivalent?
That's as close as it gets, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Down here for Georgia Tech, but Luther was onto something.
Well, congratulations, and I hope that you don't throw up before the end of this show. But speaking of kind of gross, possibly drunk food, I think that the New York Mets were offering interesting food at their spring training location. That would be tacos in a baseball helmet. We all kind of grew up with, yeah, go ahead.
Helmet taco, brother.
We all grew up with the ice cream sundae, of course, and the baseball helmet, but this is taco helmet.
It's kind of guilt-free, and what's wrong? I mean, the helmet sundae makes sense, because with a regular ice cream sundae, you would not eat the bowl. But with the helmet taco, where's their tortilla? You need the shell.
I don't know about that. And that's from a Hot Foot blog. And maybe if you want, like, maybe edamame in your baseball helmet, you could go to Japan.
Yes, just like the Boston Red Sox and Oakland Athletics, kicking off the baseball season today. While Big Papi was over there going to his hotel room, he ran into a young, newly married Japanese couple, and an all-time great photo resulted.
That's a nice picture. That was from the Boston Herald via Surviving Grady.
Yes. And another Boston area superstar, at least in the world of sports, Bill Belichick, the maligned in some parts coach for the New England Patriots, was at a Florida game for the NIT.
Right.
And was caught in this kind of compromising position, looking at, I don't know, looking in the general direction of this young lady.
Man, that's not really cheating.
Well, we saw it on Deadspin. It originally emanated from TMZ, of all places. I think that does take it a little far. I mean, you know, the guy wasn't doing anything wrong. He just happened to look up, and, you know, there was, you know, something in the general direction of his view.
Yeah.
It could have happened to anybody. It could have happened to Joe Gibbs.
Well,
maybe not Joe Gibbs.
I was waiting for you to take a crack at him. Crack.
A crack? You take a crack at somebody? Take a crack at Chris Berman, because he showed up on The Big Lead, another little paparazzi type of photo here. It's a shirtless Berman on the beach, and I mentioned that he's shirtless because some of the commenters on The Big Lead were wondering why he wore a sweater to the beach.
That's right. It looks like an entire fur coat covering his body, and I'm very frightened.
We mentioned Grizzly Bear earlier for Stephen Hill, but I think we should have saved it for Chris Berman.
That's right, and I've got nothing else to say.
Well, that does it for blog show number 43. We've made it through 1 year here on Comcast Sportsnet. Dan, to celebrate, here's a damn fine YouTube of the week. It's via Deadspin. It's reporter Rob Left for Global Television in Toronto. Some sledding coverage, and yeah, it goes wrong.
And Jamie, there are more than actual 43 weeks in a year.
All right, so I've got my trusty stopwatch, and here they come down the hill. It looks like Ruben is in the lead, and here comes Alex. That was a bad idea. At Riverside Park, Rob Lett, Global News.
Blog Show was brought to you by the good people at Senate Insurance.
Kiss my bumper. Just kiss it.